Hello, my name is Trina, and this is the channel Healing with Color. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the traits of the crystal child. I feel like I have a lot of common things. The traits within the crystal child really do relate to me, and I'll get into talking to you guys about that after I read a little bit on this article I found online. I'm looking over my my laptop, but I found this article online about the attributes of a crystal child. If you missed the video I did on the attributes of the indigo child, you can check that out. I just did that yesterday and loaded it up. So yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. So I don't know if you guys know anything about crystal children. Heard a little bit about them, but like I said, I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna talk to you about why I feel like I'm connected to these star beings is what they're called. So just like the indigo children too are considered star beings, and also rainbow children as well. So yeah. So here we go. Let me scoot up, get comfortable. You know, I might have to grab something to drink. Okay, I'm gonna grab my tea, and I guess while we go into my kitchen, I talk to you about a little bit about me and why I think I'm an indigo child. And I can't find my teacup. I might have even brought it in there with me. But crystal children are supposed to be very empathic and very sensitive. They can be very telepathic when they're younger with their parents, and that can be very unnerving for the parent. It makes them scared because they can actually read their mind and know what's going on. That can be very scary for a parent, especially if that parent doesn't have that ability as well. And that's something that happened to me when I was younger. Um, I would know what my mom was thinking, you know, and I could feel her pain deeply and intensely. So that's just a little bit about uh, some of the attributes of crystal children. Let me see if I can find my mug here. Drinking some honey lemon ginseng tea. Put that to the side here. So anyway, here's the attributes of a crystal child. And I'll give you the link to this article that I'm reading from or blog in the description below so you can check it out for yourself if you like. And then this can further make you want to learn more about this subject matter because it is important, but people just, I don't know, some people are still like living in a day and age where, you know, it's just all about baseball and apple pie or whatever. So and they don't want to deal with matters like this that could probably make things more understandable in this world, certain people that they come in contact with, instead of just judging them and not really truly understanding what they're all about. So here we go. The attributes of a crystal child. What do we know about the children of the crystal vibration? Unlike their more in-your-face brother and sister indigos, the crystal children have not stirred things up yet. So September 11, 2001 was a turning point, a signal and a gateway for the next wave of children. The crystal children's time has come. So I just want to interrupt. They're saying that the crystal children entered into this world in 2001. There's an exception to that rule. There's certain people that are from a different generation, like the 70s. I read in other literature talking about it, information, that there's a group of people from the 70s that came down to this planet to make a change, but their vibration was that of a calming nature and to help stabilize the chaos in this world. So it's not just only children that were born 2001 and after. It's some people in the 70s as well that have the strong characteristics of a crystal child. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. So let's keep going. Steve Rother and the group call these kids the peacemakers, while the indigos have been called the system busters. The indigo kids were so named because of their distinctive indigo aura life color, indigo being the color of the third eye or the brow chakra. As such, they are very intuitive, mental, quick, and easily bored. The crystal children are so called not because of their aura color, but because of their high vibration. Perhaps it will be noted in time that crystals are more dominant in the crown chakra, the violet color spectrum, even the white and clear aura. A clear aura. When did the crystal children begin to arrive? There have always been a few according to the group. These few were acting as scouts, testing the waters, but humanity did not treat them very well. That's what I was talking about. There's been crystal children souls coming down to Earth, a few of them in the 70s. So it's not just 2000s or early 2000, 2001. Like a lot of books will publications, people will publish books where they talk about crystal children and indigo children, and they try to make it seem like it was only in the 2000s, early 2000s, when these children arrived to this planet. But that's false, and they're saying that too. So where was I? Oh, about the crown chakra. That the crystal children, it's more dominant in the crown chakra. When did the crystal children begin to arrive? They've always been a few, according to the group. Okay, these few were acting as scouts, testing the waters. So, like the one known as Jesus the Christ, most often these scouts were killed, but they served the purpose of planting the seeds. It has often been noted that crystal and Christ are very similar words, and in the respect offer a similar definition. Most people would assume that I'm Christian. I'm not affiliated with Christianity in any way. But I remember people would assume that just because I'm polite to people, open the door for people, I say excuse me, pardon me. I just try to, treat people with respect and kindness. When people don't treat me with respect and kindness, it's kind of hard to reciprocate that. So, anyway. Okay, so I shouldn't go too far with this. I keep reading. With the arrival of the indigo children, we saw a dramatic increase in the number of children being diagnosed as hyperactive or with ADD by the medical community. Much has already been written of the phenomenon, so I shall leave that for the experts. However, I wondered how the crystals would be labeled. As I began to observe, what I began to hear was the word autistic. I am now quite convinced that we will see a dramatic increase in the number of autistic children. These are really the crystal children who are so sensitive, so vulnerable to the world around them, that they go inward, disconnect as best they can from even humans, and do their best to survive in a world where they really don't yet fit. Scroll down. Back to the question of how long the crystal children have been here. In the last 4 decades or so, a few more than usual began to incarnate to anchor the energy. From my observation, it was one of the hardest jobs on the planet, but somebody had to do it, so a few great ones took on the task. How do we recognize these new children are some of the few adult crystals who, as forerunners, anchor the necessary energies. They are not out and about raising havoc. They are quietly living in relative obscurity. I have had the pleasure and the honor, as well as the frustration, of raising one of these early crystal pioneers who is now 28 years old. My personal experience, my intuition, and hints provided by Steve Rother and the group are what I have used to compile a list of attributes. Okay, let's get down to the attributes. I probably should have just read that. I just wanted to give a little bit of a background. I didn't want to just skip right into it, though. So, attributes of a crystal child. Extremely sensitive to everything in their environment. Sound, colors, negative emotions in others, smells, food, chemicals, pollutants, the feel of clothing, violence, and pain of others, group consciousness, electromagnetic frequencies, and solar flares. So sensitive that they are deeply vulnerable, as well as very powerful because of their intense vulnerability. They must have alone time. They do not live well in groups, as few others understand their need for solitude, balance, rejuvenation, and deep quiet. They must have daily communion with nature and elements. The spirit of nature will help them balance and clear all of the disharmonious energies that affect them so strongly. They just plain do not understand man's inhumanity to man, war, greed, etc., and thus can easily feel totally overwhelmed by it all. If life should become too intense, or if they are traumatized or see and feel others being traumatized, they will withdraw and disconnect from society in order to protect themselves. Despite being quiet and self-effacing, others admire and are drawn to them like a magnet. They will have deep and lasting connections with humans who offer the unconditional love that the crystal knows is the only true love. When a crystal looks at you, you feel as if they have penetrated your very soul. They really need very little traditional parenting as they are gentle, wise, and will be able to tell you what they need, as well as what is good or not good for them. When my son was very young, he said one day, "I can never drink alcohol or take any drugs at all," and he hasn't. Yeah. They will often avoid crowds or malls, as there are too many different energies at such places for them to cope with. Let's see what time mark we're at, 11:17. I'm just gotta keep track of the time because I can only make videos on this channel in 15-minute increments because it's still a fairly new channel. I don't think I'm gonna read all of the attributes because we're getting close on time, and plus I have someone contacting me here. But I'll give you the link to the description. Give you a link to this this blog in the description below if you want to read more attributes of the crystal child. I do have a lot of similar attributes to the. I can relate to the crystal child, and yeah, I'm extremely sensitive to a lot of things in this world. Sometimes feel overly sensitive because I get to where I don't understand why people can be so cold and careless in what they say to people and how they treat people. A lot of people don't think about what they say before they say it a lot of the times, and don't realize that their words carry power. So really, definitely, I feel like I try to mind what I say and think about what I'm going to say before I say it. It's not easy in this world to do that, and I do feel the need to withdraw and be by myself a lot, and that's where I get into this creative space and make my art. If you don't know I'm an artist, you can check out my art on my Etsy shop. It's www.darkmoondoll.etsy.com, and I also do shows about my art and my creativity. I do that because I have to do that in order to express myself in a constructive way, because it just feels like there's a lot of people that have a lot of energy and they're trying to push their energy on you, angry energy, and stuff that they haven't resolved for themselves, and I can feel that. And a lot of times it feels like when people are around me, they're absorbing my energy because they're in a bad mood, so then they just start talking to me about the things they're going through and just dump it all on me. And I was feeling good beforehand, and then after they're done doing that, then I feel not so great. I feel like that person. So I feel like crystal children can absorb things, very extremely empathic, can absorb emotions and feelings of others. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I'm going to have to wrap it up because we're at the over 13 minutes. But I hope you enjoyed today's show, and thank you for joining me today. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for your likes and shares, and thank you for your kind comments. Leave your comments on if you're a crystal child or what you think about that, or if you raised a child that's a crystal. And yeah, brightest blessings to you all, and I will see you soon.